Okay. It's hard to get around when you don't have a car and you're a speck in the world without money or a job or a friend or a girl. Just taking each day one step at a time, not looking for a reason or a method or a rhyme, just getting up, facing the world on a beautiful day that's about to occur. Like tomorrow, today's going to be the same. Start living out your dreams or you're going to be in pain. You remember the days, the ones that got away when everyone lived on a working holiday? Well, those days are gone. The world's moved on and gone and got itself a harder, sadder song. Everything seems so out of reach and everyone's striving just to get that last peach. And when peaches are gone, the world will move on to apples instead because peaches are dead and look so funny next to apples, because the world's too slow to catch up with the fact. You got to have the book before the chapter. You got to have the fish before you even bait the hook. If you weren't so blind, you wouldn't even have to look. There's a lot to say, a lot to be said about an open mind, but it won't see much if it's worried about the time. The talking, the ticking, the gun triggers sticking like you in the glue and the primeval slime in the back of your mind. You're ripe and off the vine, way too young, much before your time.
It's time to land the Barracuda! Everybody do a wow! Do what, baby? Come on and do the Barracuda!
G'day viewers. Today's podcast was brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill out drink. That's right. Sit back, relax, feel that passion fruit extract enter your system quantumly. Hey. On today's podcast, we have the legend himself, Julian Grynglas. Well, Jules from the Poor Boys, and a million other things. But let's go back to basics. But I won't ruin it now. I'll let Jules explain it right now. Over to you, Jules. Yeah.
Say cheers. Here's to you.
Yeah, here's to you, mate. Oh, jeez. I bought this up ages ago. Cheers to you, mate. Julian Grynglas, we've already started.
Okay.
Is that how... I've known you forever as Jules.
Yeah.
How do I pronounce your last name?
It is Grynglas. I used to get a lot of misspellings of my name, so I started pronouncing it. I actually heard a guy at Little Athletics, so that's how long ago I was, about 11, and a guy said Grynglas, and I've been calling myself that ever since. If you say glass, people think it's double S. It's only one S. It's from Russian.
Really? Is that where your family's from then?
My father's Russian, was Russian. My mum's...
I'll bring it down. Oh, really, mate?
Mum's Australian.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's your dad.
Yeah, mixed marriage.
Mm-hmm. All right, so, well then say it how you're supposed to say it.
Grynglas.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Grynglas. I picture you as...
Like Loch Ness.
Okay. I picture as maybe, how would I say? Greek, perhaps. You got a bit of a schnoz, a bit of a Greek, maybe. Not really.
I've copped Greek probably my whole life.
Yeah, your hair colour.
Yeah,
bloody.
Yeah. Grynglas was.
Yeah.
But enough about me.
Yeah. Are you from Darwin?
No, I'm from the opposite. I'm from Hobart, Tasmania.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was born there. Spent the first 16 years of my life there.
Wow. So that's a quirky place. I've only been there. I spent 2 weekends there commentating the Speedway, actually.
Yeah.
The Speedway just out of there. And I found it like, wow, this is so different. Different houses, so English. Like I noticed they don't have eaves. You know what eaves are off the side of the house? Like they're just roofs and walls, like an old English town.
Yeah. I've lived in a lot of places in Australia, and it took me to move to Sydney to see the same kind of thing. It's hard because they were both settled around the same time, so a lot of that old architecture.
Old stone architecture,
But what I was going to say is after about 5 years, I went home and I started walking down the footpath and looking for grime because it's just so bloody clean everywhere you go. You can walk in the footpath and not hit a bottle cap or a cigarette butt.
Right.
It's just pristine.
Yeah.
It's like a mausoleum.
It is, but did you find this then? When I went there, I noticed two things. Wow, it's known as an arty town, right? You know, the bass player from Violent Femmes. Well, the last I heard, he lives there, and there's a
He
lot of
lives next
artists.
door to my uncle. It's a very small world.
You're kidding?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, they actually say that two people from Tasmania should never talk for too long because they'll find out they're related.
That's probably true.
It is.
That's it. That's great.
Yeah, he's his neighbour.
It's often that like rock and rollers have some great story like that. You know, you're from the Poor, a massive successful band.
In our day.
Yeah, but mate, everyone knows who the Poor is. Like, I was so stoked that today, like we're working on playing guitars tonight, right?
Yep.
And where are you doing? What are you doing tonight? You do with Cuphead? No. I'm jamming with Jules from the Poor. Shut up. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that what your kids said? I wish.
No, here's what I was going to with the Hobart. When I went there for Speedway, great place, beautiful place. It was like even like overcast and the hint of wailing still in the air kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like old school.
The wailing is the screams of the convict.
Yeah. Well, all that stuff, right? And all the dudes have beards. There is a definite air of misery. There is, mate. There's no football team there.
It's cold. Irish people go there for sun. You know, it's got slightly better weather than Ireland, from what I hear.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So being sent out as an Irish convict was, hey, an upgrade. You know.
I didn't tell you before. Normally, you got to get on this mic so I don't.
Really
I'm trying not
hot
to
on it.
record that aircon.
Oh, I see.
That's better. Hello.
Nice and close.
How are you?
Crispy.
See, Jules, this is a microphone. You probably haven't used one. It's home. Man, you're a great singer. Can I tell you something right now? That for probably everyone who loves the Poor knows Skeeny, one of the greatest frontmans in the country, right?
Yep.
You know, worldwide, and no one really understands how great you are on vocals, and how significant that is in a band that really only has three instruments. You know, Skinny plays rhythm as well, so
occasional guitar, I think it says on our album.
Really?
Yeah. On Saturdays, about 3:00.
So who taught you how to play guitar?
I did. I was playing saxophone. My sister had a guitar, and the Heaters On came out. The late Glenn Fry.
Heaters On.
Yeah, and there was that lovely figure da 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 da, and I couldn't play it on the saxophone, and then the guitar solo would kick in, and I thought he looks really happy. The saxophonist had that contorted, and I thought that's got to be a better gig. And I walked into my sister's room. I said, "You're going to play that thing?" She said, "No." So I took it from her room, and she never asked for it back. And that was I was probably about 12 or 13.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Acoustic?
Yeah, it was an acoustic, some cheap, nasty thing.
Right.
And, you know, I went through all the sort of trials and tribulations. And there was a great, I've forgotten about this till you asked me, there was a great teacher at school. His name was Mr. Nielsen, from memory. And he played, and I asked him if he had any tips. And he said, "You got to push till it hurts and then push harder." And to this day, that's like, every aspect of music is kind of like that, really, isn't
That's
it?
great.
Yeah, he was a smart guy, you know.
Great.
It was a lot more profound than I sort of figured at the time. But that helped me a lot because I was in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It was a big step from saxophone, but because the saxophone, the left hand was at the top, I became right-handed. I know you didn't ask me if I'm left or right-handed, but I was about to say that I play right-handed, but I am left-handed.
Wow.
And interestingly enough, Matthew Whitby, the bass player in the Poor, plays right-handed, and he's also left-handed. I've always thought it's a bit of a signature sound that we have when we jam, play, perform together.
So if you were to pick up an, isn't that weird? So your mind is thinking other ways. I want to ask, if you were to pick up a violin, would you throw it on the other side?
That's a good question. I think I've thrown a violin under my neck, and the support was on the other side, and I nearly broke the thing. So
Right.
I think that was about the last time I picked one up.
Oh. So obviously at home it was strung for your sister. This is how it would happen, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, strung for your sister. I remember going on a cruise ship and it was like a Maori Kiwi guy who'd learnt to play with the strings. You've seen that, would have seen that 100 times. The strings upside down. So
Yeah, that's hell. I don't know how people.
yeah, so they
really don't
playing
do
it upside down to suit their left-handedness. You know,
that. Yeah.
which is better for all us right-handeds because we can. You know, when you pick
but
up a guitar, oh no, it's a left-hander.
I think that you're better off learning it the right way up because the heavier strings are at the top, and I couldn't imagine playing a guitar upside down. I'll give it a go one day.
So you went to Sydney.
Went
Did you
to
say?
Sydney, well, from Darwin, the poor made the
Well,
exodus.
okay, how'd you get to?
We drove.
No, come on, take it back. Then you're in Hobart.
Okay.
Where did you meet the boys, or was it the first band you'd ever been in?
I drove from Hobart. I took the boat, obviously, to Melbourne, and from Melbourne to Brisbane. And then from Brisbane, I started looking at job ads, and there was actually an ad for a Jimmy Barnes concept band.
What year was this?
Here on the Gold Coast. Would have been 1988.
Okay.
And I went and did the audition and got the gig. And this was my introduction to the music business. I went to the second rehearsal, and the guy that ran the that ran the rehearsal studio, pardon me, was a guy named Dean Allen. Can't believe I still remember his name. And he asked me where our singer was, and I said, I have no idea. I only met him the other day. And he said, well, he's got my two fold-back wedges. And I never saw him again. And that was my introduction to the music business, and that was the end of that band.
Wow.
He took the wedges and ran.
Wow.
There's a song in that somewhere.
Took the wedges.
Take the wedge.
Okay.
Take the wedge.
So that was your first attempt at a band. You hadn't been in a band before.
Oh, I had various things at school. We did actually my first gig was at high school. We played to the exam study hall, which is an audience basically of dead people.
Right, tough gig. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were happy to have anything as a relief from their gratuitous studying, which we've all done, and sort of wished it was just the exam so we could get the hell out of there and not prolong the agony.
Did you leave home angrily or something? Why did you go to? What?
I left home because I'd gone to year 11 and I could see a lot of men. These guys my age, they were men. They had beards and hairy whatevers, and I was still kind of a kid, and they were all taking these serious marine biology courses and mathematics and computing and all of this stuff that I kind of took reluctantly because there were people I knew in the class. And then I found out very quickly that I hated school way, way more than I thought. And I gravitated towards a few musicians, started a little band, and then before I knew it, we weren't playing music, we just weren't going to school and just hanging out, getting drunk, doing things that 17, 18-year-old guys do, try to pick up girls. And I realised very quickly that a music career in Tasmania was not going to happen for me. And I just had this urge to travel. I wanted to get out of there. So, unbeknownst to me, my parents had been looking at breaking up. They were waiting until us kids had all reached a certain age, I think 16, 17, and then they called it quits. My father was moving up to Brisbane, and he asked if I wanted to go too. I'd said with one eye closed so I didn't have to see my mum looking at me that I would. And in hindsight, it's the best decision I ever made in my life. There was a whole wide world out there. And the first time I looked in the paper, I saw an audition for a guitar player. I couldn't believe it.
Excellent.
First time I'd ever seen an ad for a guitar player in a paper.
Of course. Wow, that's good. Mate, I know someone in reverse that grew up on the Gold Coast in Mudgeeraba. She was on the radio here every Sunday too, and everyone kind of knows her. On air, she's a radio person. Like, yes, blah, blah, blah. But she grew up on the Gold. She doesn't even go to the beach. She's like a miserable. She hates this place. Finally, she just got a gig on Hobart Radio. She's on
Sure,
breakfast.
she's not from Brisbane.
No, yeah. To me, I was just like, can't you see how great this place was? But she couldn't because she hadn't been anywhere. But she's it's 5 months now. She's on Hobart Radio now and loves it
Wow.
for the same reason. It takes you moving from somewhere